What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nasher. Welcome back to the channel. Now before we get started with today's video, the road to 200 subs has now come to a close and we are now 185 subs away from hitting 500 subs. Guys, we are getting so close to 500 subs. I know we can get to that point by the end of the year, but is it possible? Only one way to find out. But if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, because practically 100% of you guys are watching the content, but you guys are not even subscribed. So if you guys are watching the content, you like the content, and you want more of the content, but you guys have not subscribed as of yet, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button on this video, and as always, excuse me, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this. Among the card as it sits now, excuse me, among the card as it sits now, where to go? What are your guys' predictions for Backlash? Let me know down in the comments below. And for today's video, it is all about predictions for Backlash. And honestly, this has the opportunity to change what happened at WrestleMania forever, because there is a lot going on with this card. There is a lot going on, so much to talk about. So I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm just gonna get straight. Excuse me. I'm just gonna get straight into it, kicking things off. The Intercontinental title, Dirty Dom and Penta. This is actually kind of crazy, because the very next night, on the Raw after WrestleMania, Dominic Mysterio defended the title against Penta, which we saw Dom win that match. Excuse me. But it was only because of the fact that JD McDonough made his return to WWE after over 4 months away from a punctured lung. Yeah, a punctured lung. Think about that. And and again, this proves that Dominic Mysterio, he can win a title on his own, but once he has it, he has to have the Judgment Day bail him out. And I have no doubt in my mind that Dirty Dom might just end up winning it. He may just end up retaining the title, and it's gonna get to a point where, and this is something that I had talked about in my episode of WWE's Biggest Issue yesterday. I talked about how Finn Balor could very well be the catalyst behind the destruction of the Judgment Day. Imagine what happens if Penta wins on Saturday. Balor ends up beating the holy hell out of Dom for losing the title right on the spot. And the thing is, Dom's been champion for almost an entire month. In fact, has it been a month already? No, it has. It has not been. I don't think it's been a month already. No, it's only been 2 weeks. Yeah. So it's been two. So it's already been 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks actually, since Dom had won the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So there's a lot to definitely there's definitely a lot to unpack with this whole ordeal. But I think the one thing that we can definitely expect from this match is the fact that is the fact that the Judgment Day is definitely going to be in Dom's corner to bail him out and help him retain the Intercontinental title. But when I talked about how Finn Balor could end up becoming the catalyst of the Judgment Day, that is where this whole ordeal comes into play. The idea of Balor attacking Dom and handing the title over to Penta. That could potentially be the case. If that happens, the Judgment Day would basically be dead as we know it. And do I see Penta as a champion in WWE? 100%, absolutely. I mean, when you think when you think about all the different championships that Penta has won over the years, the guy has won championships everywhere he's been. Mostly tag team titles. Mostly tag team titles, but he has won won multiple world titles throughout his career. In fact, I think he's won singles gold on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, he's won 17 championship. He's won 17 singles championships throughout his entire career, and the fact that he has that much experience proves that Dominic Mysterio has a still even still to this day, he still has a lot to prove, and he definitely has a long way to go. I mean, yeah, sure, he's competed on the independents, but think about this, right? Dom is the current Intercontinental Champion. He's a 2-time North American champion, a former tag team champion with his father, and he's won 3 Slammies. 3 Slammies. One for Faction of the Year as part of the Judgment Day, and then back-to-back Slammies for Villain of the Year last year, and then of course this year, obviously with this time with Liv Morgan. So there's a lot to consider. There's definitely a lot to consider, between the two. But if I had to pick one, I think it has to be Dom. I think just because of the fact that he's gonna have the Judgment Day bail him out. It's basically a foregone conclusion. Dom retains. Not much else to say about with that. But I will say that if Penta does win, I will be surprised. But as far as how Finn Balor is going to take it, that still remains to be seen. Next up, we've got the Fatal 4-Way for the United States title. Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and then of course the megastar L.A. Knight. Yeah. Here's the crazy thing, right? Obviously, obviously all four men had competed at WrestleMania. Obviously, Fatu and Knight, faced off for said U.S. title. Priest and Drew competed in that street fight. I think what was it, night? I think night one was the U.S. title. Night two ended up being the street fight. So there's definitely a lot to consider and a lot to unpack. Obviously, Drew McIntyre's had a lot of history with the bloodline, but I never would have imagined him having issues with Jacob Fatu. That would be quite the matchup. Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. I think we can all agree. Sign us up. And then and of course, people seem to forget that Damian Priest is a former U.S. champion in his own right. In fact, he held the title for a little over 180 days, if I remember right. So he's had that title for a while. He's held on to that title for a while. But also think about this: Drew McIntyre has never held the United States title, which is the one championship that he has to win in order to become a Grand Slam champion. Think about this. Drew McIntyre is already now in the same boat as Sheamus, where he only needs one more championship to become an Ultimate Grand Slam winner. He's been World Heavyweight Champion. He's been WWE Champion. He's won the Royal Rumble. He's won the tag team titles. He's won Money in the Bank. He's competed. He's won inside the Elimination Chamber twice in his career, and he's been Intercontinental Champion as well. And he's even main evented WrestleMania as well in his career. So there's that. So, and also too, the only thing that Drew McIntyre has not done yet is win King of the Ring. So I feel like with Drew, it's that plus the U.S. title are the only two things that he needs to walk away as an Ultimate Grand Slam winner. Is it possible for him to be the guy to do it? 100%. But I think the advantage in this whole ordeal goes to Jacob Fatu. And the only reason is because he is as advertised. All gas, no brakes. He is basically a Samoan Terminator. Literally, there is nothing that will stop him. There is nothing that can stop the holy hell out of Jacob Fatu. But I think under Fatal 4-Way rules, this favors him the most because now there's nothing stopping him from doing the most dastardly bullshit you could ever dream of. Like, there is nothing that will stop him. So as far as who I would like to see win, I'm stuck between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. I think just because of the fact that Jacob Fatu, this is his first title defense post WrestleMania. And as far as Drew goes, he needs the title to become an Ultimate Grand Slam champion. He's never held the title once in his career, so what better way to continue the momentum post WrestleMania than by becoming the United States champion. But if I had to pick one, I think it's gonna be Jacob Fatu. I think just because of the fact that again he is as advertised, all gas, no brakes. He's been on an amazing roll, and he's been very dominant ever since he got to SmackDown right around this time last year. And think about this, even inside War Games last November, he was a dominant motherfucker. That dude was literally as advertised. He was as advertised. But next up, we have, speaking of as advertised, we have a match that I never would have imagined. I never thought it would ever happen. Like, no one expected it. Gunther and Pat McAfee. Think about this, right? Pat McAfee has competed in quite a few matches throughout his time in WWE. And I know this because I've called every single match that Pat McAfee has been a part of. Let me give you one of those matches. Take you all the way back to a little premium live event known as NXT TakeOver 30. Pat McAfee versus Adam Cole. That match was an instant classic, and Pat McAfee was the villain. He was the heel at that time. Adam Cole slowly started to become a babyface because of his hatred for Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee had an incredible showing that night, but it was all for naught as Adam Cole picked up the victory using the Panama Sunrise. Fast forward several months later. Fast forward several months later at NXT TakeOver War Games, it was Team McAfee versus the Undisputed Era inside War Games. Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, and the NXT Tag Team Champions at the time, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, they were dominant. That's how crazy Pat McAfee was. He had the balls big enough to compete inside War Games. After that, we didn't see. Funny enough, we didn't see much of him until after WrestleMania. Until after WrestleMania 37. By that point, Pat McAfee was mostly working commentary. Literally, that was it. He was literally mostly just working commentary, and he, if I'm remembering this right, the next match he had was, I believe, WrestleMania 38, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to look back on my first book here that I have. Here we are. Pat McAfee against Austin Theory, and that was his third match ever. His third match ever. And then randomly ends up having a fourth match overall against Vince McMahon. Then we fast forward to SummerSlam, where in his fifth match he worked Baron Corbin, or sorry, Happy Corbin was his name, and he won using a Canadian destroyer. Literally with a code red, not a destroyer, a code red to win. After that, that was it. He had no other matches at all from that point going forward. In fact, I think the last match he had, after that, I think after that match, he competed at WrestleMania 39 in here in my hometown of LA against The Miz, and had an incredible match with him, which nobody expected that. Nobody expected that to happen. But then looking back at the Royal Rumble last year in 2024. That was when he had his last match. This would be, let's see, Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, Austin Theory, Vince, Baron Corbin, Miz, and then the Royal Rumble. This will be his 8th match ever in WWE. Think about that. 8 matches overall, and his next match will be against Gunther, a much more vicious, a much more vicious Gunther than we had ever seen before. I don't know. I think, honestly, I hope Pat McAfee knows what the fuck his dumbass got himself into. Like, I hope he does, but to be fair, Gunther brought this upon himself. He was the one that attacked both Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Obviously, Pat wasn't gonna let some prick like Gunther pull that stunt. I mean, to be fair, you really can't blame him. You can't blame the guy whatsoever. And I will say Pat McAfee's record thus far has been immaculately crazy. His first 2 matches he lost against Adam Cole and of course against all the members of the Undisputed Era inside War Games. That's two losses right. Actually, no, that's 2 losses right there. His very first victory was against Austin Theory, then lost to Vince, won against Happy Corbin, and then won against The Miz. Then competed in the men's Royal Rumble in 2024. Now he's having his 8th match, and the question is, will it be 4-4 or will it be 5 and will it be 4-4 or 4-5? We'll have to wait and see. But I will say, Pat McAfee is way in over his head. Gunther is, has been champion for 80% of the time that he's been in WWE, dating back to his time in NXT UK. And the crazy thing is, between the NXT UK title, the Intercontinental title, and the World Heavyweight title, the NXT UK title was the championship that he's held the longest. He held that title for 870 days. The Intercontinental title for 666 days, and then the World Heavyweight title for a little over 250 days. So that right there says a lot. And I will admit, I would love to see Pat McAfee win, but at this point, we have to face facts. Pat McAfee is way in over his head. My money's on Gunther. I think Gunther's going to win it. I think just because of the fact that Gunther has grinded in the ring more times than Pat McAfee. As I have a hangnail on my nail. There we go. As Pat, as far as like Pat McAfee goes, his first match, which was against Adam Cole, he only had 2 weeks to prepare. He literally admitted that he only had 2 weeks to prepare, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. So this proves that Pat McAfee is way in over his head. My money is on Gunther. Next up, the Women's Intercontinental title, Lyra Valkyria and the man Becky Lynch. And this whole thing started literally at WrestleMania. Becky admitted the night after WrestleMania that she was one that attacked Bayley because of the fact that she was trash. That she was nothing. That she was worthless and all that. you guys have seen it the last couple weeks. Just Becky Lynch has been in her own little world. She's complained that Lyra is entitled. She's the fact that Lyra would be nothing without Becky. And then if you guys saw last night on Raw, Lyra cooked Becky Lynch like it was nothing. Like it was absolutely nothing. So this proves that this is a much better version of Lyra Valkyria than the last time that these two women had faced off. And the last time that these two faced off, Lyra Valkyria defeated Becky to become NXT Women's Champion. So if that can happen, imagine what the outcome would be going into Backlash. This will be Becky's first match back post WrestleMania. Since this will be her first match since WrestleMania, but this will be her second match since leaving WWE at the hands of Liv Morgan last year. So the question becomes, will ring rust come into play? And the answer is yes. Even though ring rust did not become a factor at WrestleMania, it's definitely going to take its toll going into Backlash on Saturday. So I have no doubt that Becky Lynch, again, she wants to make more history, but she has to get through Lyra Valkyria to do it. But this isn't the Lyra Valkyria from NXT. This is a much more vicious, a much more confident, a much more better version of Lyra Valkyria than she was back in NXT. This is going to be a tough one to call, but I think Lyra is definitely going to win it. But speaking of history, we now move into what will be the biggest main event in the history of the Backlash Premium Live event, and potentially the last time ever. John Cena, Randy Orton, the WWE title. Here's the crazy thing. I never would have imagined that this match would happen again. This rivalry was supposed to end in 2017. It was supposed to be the last time ever. No. That's what they said about John Cena versus The Rock. Once in a lifetime. Nope, we got it twice. Back-to-back years. Who would have ever thought, right? Who would have ever guessed? Here's the thing. The battles that these two have had over the years has been crazy. In fact, here we are. In fact, I believe against one another, they have had, in fact, all together, dating back, going all the way back to 2001, they've competed against each other in how many matches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 67, 68, 69, 71, 72. Over almost literally 80 times. and that's just in so many different various matches, triple threats, fatal four ways, Royal Rumble, handicap matches, tag team matches. But overall, but if you look at their record one on one in one on one competition, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, at least 20 times, at least about 20 times, yeah, 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 I would say roughly about around 20 times that these guys have been in the ring together, one on one. And the crazy thing is that these guys, their path to this point have paralleled so much, dating all the way back to their time in OVW, all the way back in the early 2000s, and then obviously battling over the WWE title on numerous occasions. Competing for number one contender spots, qualifiers, tournaments, everything else in between, Iron Man matches, I Quit matches, main events, and again everything else in between. And now this is it, right? John Cena admitted that he was going to ruin wrestling simply by retiring as champion and taking the title home with him, meaning that Randy Orton's record would be frozen at 14. But if he were to win that as he said, paper championship, it would be restarted at 1, which I don't see it that way. I think in my honest opinion, I think John Cena is just being bitter. He's being bitter by the fact that everybody else has, he's bitter by the fact that the fans have put all their focus on guys like Cody Rhodes, guys like Randy Orton, guys like Jey Uso, guys like Logan Paul, guys like Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Karrion Kross, Los Garza, Penta, Rey Fenix, and they've all forgotten about John Cena. But here's the thing. Newsflash: nobody forgot about John Cena. No one forgot about the fact that he tied Ric Flair with 16, now has broken the record with 17. There has been a lot of rumors that he could potentially drop the title to Randy and go after Jey Uso to go for number 18, which that right there I think would be a little bit of an overkill. I think just because of the fact that John Cena has already established himself as the GOAT. Why try to overkill it, It doesn't make sense. But this is by far the biggest main event in WWE history, because you got John Cena, who is literally reaching the end of his rope, Where as opposed to a guy like Randy Orton, he's in the prime of his career, having the time of his life. Could be, and even Randy admitted in multiple interviews over the course of the last year and a half now, that he's made mistakes and he's done things and he's done bad things to good people, but he's learned from them. He's seen the error's ways, and he wants to end his career on a high note. And I think going from number 14 to number 15 is definitely the way to go. But the question is, can Randy Orton do it? Can he defeat John Cena and go for number 15? And the answer is yes. With the fact that Randy Orton has more to give in WWE than John Cena, that definitely gives Orton the edge he needs to go for number 15. But also think about this as well. It's in Backlash this weekend. This Saturday is going to be in St. Louis, Randy's hometown. Cena is going to be in enemy territory, and it ain't going to be pretty. And the funny thing is, the last time and here's the funny thing. Every time John Cena enters enemy territory, whether it would be against a guy like Wade Barrett, or against a guy like CM Punk, or against a guy like Rob Van Dam, 96% of the time, he's lost. Think about that. Every time he's entered enemy territory, 96% of the time, he's lost his matches. He's lost his championships to his opponent. CM Punk, Rob Van Dam, just to name a couple. History could potentially repeat itself, and we could end up seeing Randy Orton go, be winning number 15. We can 100% see it. Is it really going to happen? We will have to wait and find out this Saturday. But with that being said, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.